two returning guests, Scott and Andy. So Andy is from a company called Hardbasket, hilarious name, and Scott Wilson is from Digital Influence. And they're going to be kind of working together to tackle the topic of how to connect your apps and automate your workflow with Zapier. This is something that Andy specializes in, making sure that small businesses are optimizing their time and getting more money on their return for their time. And we had a great session with him not too long ago. And this is kind of another session that we're throwing in the mix with an app called Zapier that we hear a lot about. And these guys are Zapier experts. So this is a cool way for them to show us how it all works. Now, this is streaming on a number of platforms, but if you're with us on Zoom and you don't use those platforms, you will receive a recording of this session in a thank you follow-up email. So don't worry about that. But if you're streaming with us on the other platforms, you can always rewatch any of our sessions that we've taken live. And you can also participate no matter what platform you're on by using the comment section, the Q&A section, or the chat section on the various platforms. I will be checking them throughout the session, and we would love for you to pop your questions in and get them answered by Andy and Scott. They are experts, and that's why they're here. So take advantage of their knowledge and make this about your business and how you can grow your business. So without further ado, Scott, Andy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having us. Kia ora.
Yeah, thanks.
And, yeah, great to be here and talking about Zapier and how we can connect apps and automate workflows, which is it's such a great opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses. Really, I believe that some of the technology that we have, like we're showing today, provides a real competitive advantage for small and medium-sized businesses. So yeah, really excited to be sharing that with you.
It's all about time leverage, isn't it? I mean, like that's what we're looking to do as one-man bands and mom and pop kind of shops. Like the one thing that we don't have, that's our biggest commodity, is time. So this is one of those sessions where we delve in how to get some of that commodity back. So I'm really excited. I'm going to turn my video off and let you guys drive, and I'll be in the background making sure that everything's happening.
And feel free to to jump back in and
questions throughout, or would you like them at the end?
Questions throughout is great.
Okay, perfect.
All right. I'll just bring up a presentation that we've got to go through, and yeah, really appreciate your time this morning to jump on. So look, just a little introduction about Zapier and about me. So Zapier rhymes with happier. For quite a few years, I called it Zapier, but apparently I was pronouncing it wrong. Zapier is 350 employees, fully remote business. Been growing very quickly over the last few years. The Zapier platform has 3,000 plus applications that it connects to, and a huge number of individuals and businesses helped with their automation needs, and as well as lots and lots of small and medium-sized businesses. There's also users from bigger businesses, and yeah, it's super cool. So to get us kicked off, because today's session, we'd love to have your involvement in it. We've got a couple of questions for you that would love your participation. So really love to have you go to slido.com, so slido.com, and if you enter the you'll be prompted to enter a number. The number there is 182233. And I'd love you just to type into there a number of the different apps that you're using in your business. So, a lot of businesses I work with are using Xero for their accounting. So that's a cloud app. If you're using a CRM system, or if you're using an inventory system, or if you're using a system for managing your website like Shopify or anything like that. If you're using Google Suite, or if you're using Microsoft 365, they're all apps, and it'd be great to get some idea from you as an audience what apps you're using. So please go into that link, enter that number, and type in as many of the different apps that you're using as possible, and we'll come back to that a little bit later on.
There's some good choices coming through. There's a lot of people using Xero, a lot of people using HubSpot. It's good to see.
Oh, great. Okay, so just a little bit more about Zapier, the product. So it's a tool that allows you to connect your favorite web apps together and move information together between them automatically. So all you have to do is pick an event that sets Zapier in motion, and then choose what work should happen automatically. So we've got just a little picture here. We've got a MailChimp new form is submitted, and we're then using Zapier to add that lead into our Salesforce application. So the great thing about Zapier is that it's kind of as simple as it can be for a lot of different tasks. So it means that you can build automatic workflows without the need for a developer or a full IT team. And lots and lots of small and medium-sized businesses are using it without a developer and without an IT team. Okay, so here are the answers that have come through around the apps. So we can just see by the weighting of the weighting here that Xero is the most commonly answered, and we've got lots of Canva and HubSpot and MailChimp, lots of Facebook Business Suite.
I like seeing the Henry up there too. We just had those guys on, and this is quite cool. This also gives me, if you took a picture of that, Scott, that'd be super useful for me, because then if I haven't booked any of those folks, then I can kind of have a look at what people are using and possibly get some experts on. So if you get a photo of that, that'd be awesome. Yeah, cool. Thanks so much.
Great. So we've got Data Daddy in there, Calendly, Google Workspace, Workflow Max, LinkedIn. Yeah, lots of great apps which can help make your business work work a whole lot more efficiently. And the Zapier platform with 3,000 plus apps and a number of triggers and actions and searches available, there's there are literally billions of possibilities for how you can use this. And you see some of the icons there from some of those 3,000 apps. I'm not sure if all of the apps that you typed in are covered, but I definitely recognised a whole lot of them. So why customers love Zapier is because it is a nice, simple way to be able to make things work. So it really is opening up automation opportunities for small and medium-sized business owners. And here's a little example where we've got a contact us form on Facebook, and using Zapier, we are taking that information. We're then sending, in this case, Mike an email to say thanks for contacting us, and then we're also taking that information and sending it into our internal communication channel. In this case, we're using Slack, and so that we can then follow Mike up. So we've got a bunch of different examples that we're going to talk through to show you how Zapier can be used. And the first couple of examples I've got are examples from Scott's business, and the first one is around managing jobs. So Scott, feel free to jump in here, but this is so kind of in the old way, pre-Zapier. You had some information which would come into your CRM system. You'd then take some of that information, send emails. You'd have some data entry, which would maybe go into a spreadsheet or go into another tool. And then you've got some more communication, going out to customers from that information.
Yeah.
And now, the new way using Zapier, you've got data coming into your CRM system. Using Zapier, we're sending that to Asana, which is your task management, your job management tool. And that's then, enabling automatic, communication to go out from there.
Yeah, the crazy thing about this, Andy, as well is, and it constantly, like this is why I love technology. I've used Zapier for a long time, probably 3-4 years now, and different products and stuff. And sometimes you think your processes are efficient until you find out they're not. And it's amazing when this, we're just using this all the time now, like how much more efficient we are, right? Like, and we thought we were efficient, but we actually weren't. It's not till you put and leverage that technology that you discover, man, there's just a different way of doing stuff and a better way of doing stuff.
Yeah.
I see, like, I look at Zapier like as the glue, It's like the glue that binds everything together. And that's what I love about it, right? Like, it's, if you have issues, you can use Zapier to get even to glue together, which that's how I see it.
Yeah, like it really, I remember the first time I came across it, we were working on a project actually for Women's Refuge, and we had a couple of different applications that we needed to get talking together. Otherwise, we were going to have this this kind of clumsy manual process in place, and it just glued some things together, like you said.
Yeah.
And then just opened up this whole world of opportunities to be able to streamline and automate these manual processes that were just not a good use of the team's time. So
yeah. Plus in a cost-effective way.
Yes.
Yeah. Versus custom building, which a lot of people have done in the past, and that's where cost blows out.
Yeah. And the thing about custom building, and one of the things I love about the flexibility around Zapier is that when you get a new problem, it's or something stops working, it's much more flexible to be able to go and make a change.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I see a lot with the businesses that I work with is that often you're needing to introduce new technology regularly into your business to be able to take advantage of opportunities. And Zapier gives you the ability to be able to kind of keep that agile kind of development around that technology happening. So you're not kind of locked in to a certain thing for a while.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
So this is this is one of the Zapier screens for what the example I just showed you. So for Scott, his CRM is go high level, and so when a pipeline stage is changed inside that CRM, there's an action to create a task in Asana. So that's how that works. So Scott, with that particular Zap that we've got in place, how much time does that save you or your team per week?
It's easily a couple of hours, and as we get busier and busier, it'll save us more time, right? Yeah. But it's even more than that. It's like we don't have to think about it now. Yeah. Because that's like if you have to think about it, that's where the bottlenecks become. So it's just you don't have to think about it. The software does what the software is supposed to do, and everyone gets a better experience, right? To the customer as well, and to my team.
Yeah, and I think one of the really super important things here. So we talked just in the introduction about saving time and how important that is, and absolutely saving time is absolutely crucial. But one of the things that this technology creates as an opportunity for businesses is to be able to improve their customer and team experience. Mm-hmm. And that's a real opportunity for a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, because you can beat larger competitors by being much more customer and much more team focused. We're seeing more and more that customers want to have personalized interaction. They want to feel they want to have a good experience in working with a business, and in the same way, employees and team members want to be working in organizations where they where they're valued and where they're part of something, and where they have a good team experience.
Yeah, totally, Andy. And this software like this helps you, I guess, especially when you get busy, because it's easy to create and do manual things when you're slow and you're not doing too much. But as soon as you quicken up, those things go by the by, right? So having this in place while really amplifies when you're busy, things just get done in the background. You don't have to think about it. So one thing I would say here, hey, look, if you've got any questions, if you've got some ideas, feel free to put them in the questions. We're more than happy to answer any questions and make this interactive as well. Like we love helping business owners with the issues they have. Maybe you've got some ideas on how this technology, so feel free to ask. Andy's a real expert at this.
Scott, I can see a couple of
there's a couple of questions in here if you wanted to address them. So sorry, my computer was running a bit slow in the background, so it took me a minute to get everything sorted. So Tidy Enterprise, that's those are the tools that they use. I've not heard of Tidy Enterprise actually, or Helm Cashflow. Interesting. Thanks, Rob. Tools like HubSpot have native workflows where you can create a bunch of actions like triggering an email, creating tasks in Asana, etc. What would be a benefit of using a third-party tool instead of to automate that sort of workflow?
Well, more and more we're seeing those native native workflows and connectors being built into a lot of the apps. And look, if you've got that already built in and it does what you need to do, then you should absolutely use that. The reason that we use Zapier for a lot of the work is that typically those inbuilt native automations are pretty limited, and so if they solve all of your problems, then great. But the benefit of using something like Zapier is if you're needing to connect apps that don't have those native inbuilt automations, and also if you're needing to work with a number of different applications. So you might have two applications that have a native connection, but you're trying to connect to a third application, and probably makes sense to use a tool like Zapier to handle the whole process, as opposed to have one process being managed by the native and then using Zapier to do the next step. Yeah.
What would you say? I mean, this kind of gets into the realm of tech stack, doesn't it? And a lot of people don't know what that is. We are going to be doing a session on how to build the tech stack for your business. So we'll just touch on it briefly here, and we'll go really deep into that and in a different session. But I'd love to hear, we like to see how things work. I don't know if you're able to go into Zapier and have a little bit of a sneak peek of how they all kind of connect, and maybe pointing towards an action there. And also, what is a tech stack, so that people understand how this all kind of ties together.
Yeah, so we've definitely got quite a few different examples here, and we've got some different screenshots to show those triggers and actions, which is how Zapier works. So, I think that what we've tried to do here is to provide something which is as valuable as possible in the time that we have. So, the next example, Scott, is around managing quotes. And you use Quotient for your for doing your quotes, and your old way, kind of pre-Zapier, you had again some data entry, some different emails, and using Zapier, you're now able to have your Quotient data go straight through to your CRM. And here's this is the Zapier screen for building, this automation, is that, we have a trigger where when a quote is accepted in Quotient, the action is to add a task into the lead connector, which is the CRM system. So, Scott, from for you and being able to just have this managed, what does that?
Yeah, this works really well. This is for us. We used to use MailChimp. It was kind of automated. It worked okay, but it's not the same now, because this then also goes into Asana and a few other products that we use as well. So it's just highly effective. I wouldn't do it any other way. It's just it's a breeze, right?
Yeah.
This is a good example of sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And when you start connecting this sort of stuff together, it can just speed up a lot of things.
Yeah. So I guess the interesting thing there was that you did have MailChimp in place,
yeah,
and then you had a change of technology around your CRM system,
yeah,
in your new CRM system, that has workflows built into built in as part of that CRM, which you're utilizing.
Yeah.
So you had this change of technology, but by being able to use Zapier meant that you were able to make a pretty small tweak without having to kind of reinvent the whole wheel, right?
Yeah, it's once again, it's that glue, right? Like, so you think problem, that you've got, okay, what's the solution? There's a solution there, and Zapier is just the glue that connects it all together very efficiently. I love it.
So I've got a question here. It says, hi guys, we're making products, need to select and connect manufacturing stock management software to work with our WordPress e-commerce. Can this be connected with Zapier to send us reminders of low stock, purchasing, orders, etc.? Do you have any examples of how Zapier can be used in manufacturing? Great question.
Yeah. So I've done quite a few jobs in some in and around manufacturing, and so one of the projects I've been involved in is helping a business that sells kitset motorbikes, and so they import kitset motorbikes and parts of them. They have to manage that inventory and then manage the shipping and then the reordering around that. And for that business, their web platform, they're actually using Shopify as their platform, and we have used Zapier and a few other different applications. They're using a separate CRM system, and we have those tools talking together, and also providing some of the stock information. So
there's some really good apps. Like if you're looking for stock management and inventory, off the top of my head, I think of Unleashed and I think of Sin7, and Sin7 is CIN and the number 7. And those will actually connect with your e-commerce businesses, and they will notify you. So if you connected it through Zapier, I'm assuming this would work. And I'm pretty sure that they are connected as integrations with Zapier from my knowledge. You could connect it with your site, and they will talk to each other and let you know about when your stock is low. And it'll also, you can even use apps like Unleashed. If you were selling in store and on e-commerce, you could also, it would still track that inventory as well. So yeah, and there's some really good, if you're in manufacturing and then you wanted to add a shipping app, I'm just going down the app tunnel here. Sorry guys. If you wanted an app for your shipping, GoSweetSpot is a really great app that will automatically take the information from the sale, like the purchasing name and address and all of that, and it'll print out labels, and it just gets it completely ready for shipping. So that would be another cool integration that you could pop in there for, shipping kind of stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm thinking they're using WooCommerce, right?
WooCommerce is an integration with
WordPress.
Well, usually a lot of people use it with Wix. Yeah, WooCommerce. But yeah. So here's another one. Scott, how did you map out your processes, workflows to then see how and where Zapier would assist and or replace? My business is a startup and I would like to have the most efficient way from the beginning. I don't want to get overwhelmed with apps and too much. I'm beginner techie. You're more than beginner techie, Lara. You're here every day. Okay.
For me personally, it's like Andy does actually have a process for this. I've been around Andy long enough to know that I can talk to him about the whole process. He's actually got a process for taking you through this. But for me as well, it was just writing stuff down to getting clear on what would the greatest outcome look. I'm always looking at what's the outcome that I really want to achieve. And then what's the quickest way to that, and then it's just about finding the tools that'll help you get that, and then just use an expert. Because I tell you one thing with Zapier and all this software, they're all great till you have to start putting them together. Like I can't, if I'm going to build a Lego, I have to use the instructions, right? With my son, I have to sit down there and use the instructions. Once the instructions are gone, I just want to put Lego everywhere, right? And I'll build something, but it doesn't actually look like so I'll use an expert now, like Andy, because he'll just make me go faster. If I was doing a startup, and I've been watching these webinars, I'll just use Andy like first, because that's the way you're going to win, right? I wish I'd known Andy 10 years ago when I started.
Yeah. I'm just popping, we had a request for what were some of those apps that I mentioned. And so I'm going to pop them in the chat. I'm just popping them in for Adriana there. But there was a comment here from Rob. It says, Unleash doesn't talk to workflow, Mac, so manufacturing is difficult. Yeah, so it might not be the end all. It's an inventory system. Like that's what it's for, inventory. So maybe not for workflow. You might need to, this is why we have things like tech stacks, right, guys? Yep. It's like, so you might use like one of these apps for your inventory, and you might use something like, depending on what, I don't know if it would work for manufacturing because it's more of a construction kind of workflow thing, but Fergus is something that we use as an app to manage different project management and communicate with workers and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's an app. In fact, if you want to have somebody try to find you something, then maybe contact support@digitalboost.co.nz and we will have a look for you.
Yep.
Lara, I hope that answered your question, but really just think of the process or the outcome that you want. I've got plenty of examples we can share around the outcome, and then you work back from there.
There's also on my website at hardbasket.com, there's a blog on there which has some some free articles there about how to map out your process. And one of the really key things in building your tech stack and solving the business problems that you have using technology is to lay out what are all of the steps that need to happen, and what are the kind of core priorities in your business. And then from there, you can work with somebody like me, or you can go and do it yourself and go and do some research to find the tools that work together. So we've talked in the past on some other sessions about how to find some good apps, and there's Anna Marie will be able to post in some links for you about some different options there. So it's definitely something you can go and do yourself. And if you're good with technology, you can definitely make it work. And you're welcome to book a free call with me to provide a little bit of guidance. I do a free 20-minute call, where you can just talk about your problem and I can point you in the right direction. Scott, just with your quota one before we move on to the next one. So what do you reckon an hours that saves you?
Oh, look, I just had it triggered yesterday. I wasn't even involved in the sale. My team did the sale. All I just get is the notification on my phone. So now it's even better than the hours. It's like the team are using it. The customer's getting a great experience, and I'm not even involved. So how good is that?
And you've got 3 people in your team, right?
Well, there's 6 of us.
The 6
plus our overseas team.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So I've got another quick question for you. So if you go back to your
good question,
Slido, And Scott, are you, actually, I'll just get this one going. The question is time or money more important to you? So if you go back to slido.com with the same number, I've just started a new poll in there, and really love your feedback around whether it's time or money is the more important thing for you at the moment, in your business. And we'll bring up the answers to those a little bit later. I've got another Zapier example here around scheduling jobs. So the old way that this business used to manage scheduling jobs is that we'd receive a phone call from a customer. There would be some emails that happened. We were using spreadsheets to be able to manage that information and to also create a schedule for the team to when to produce and also install these particular jobs. And what we were able to do using a couple of different apps. So this business uses Xero and also uses a tool called ClickUp, which is a task management tool. And by using Zapier, what we're able to do is we're able to create a new, so when we create a quote in Xero, and when that quote is accepted, it automatically creates a new task in ClickUp. And inside of ClickUp, we use that to manage the job and also to schedule the job. So it means that, from going from kind of having data everywhere and being emailed and stored everywhere, it's now sitting in one place, and we've got those two apps connected together, which is making life a whole lot easier. And this is another example of around scheduling jobs. So this business is using Pipedrive as their CRM system, and they use Google Calendars. So they've got 15 different Google Calendars for managing. This is a trade business, so managing all of the different trades that need to be involved in the job. And so what happens here is that when a deal stage when a deal gets to a certain stage, it sends through a new event to the Google Calendar, which is great. So all of the team can see those, see all of the jobs. And on the right-hand side, this is super important, is when there needs to be a change in those events, which happens all the time, we can simply move the event inside the Google Calendar, and it will send the new date back into Pipedrive, so that all of the customer communication can continue to be automated out of Pipedrive and keep customers up to date. So there's one source of truth that's sitting inside of Pipedrive, but we've also got the beautiful functionality of being able to use the Google Calendar. So in the first example with the Xero and ClickUp, that's saving 2 hours a week. It's creating a better customer experience, a better team experience. The Pipedrive example is a new example. We expect that's gonna save a tremendous amount of time for that business. So, all right. So here are the answers to the poll. So saving time was the absolute winner. So thank you for your vote. So I think Zapier definitely delivers on saving time. So can also save you a lot of money as well. Another example around onboarding customers. So this the old way: paper forms, emails, manual data entry, spreadsheets. Using Zapier, we're able to connect together forms, digital checklists, our calendars, our emails, and also bring and automate documents together. Here's a couple of the Zapier workflows. So in this case, we're using an app called Caspio, which is a database. We're then sending that data through to a tool called Process Street, which is a digital checklist. And on the right-hand side, you'll see there that we've got some more data which is coming into our database through an online form, and we're then updating some of the checklist inside of Process Street. So look, in this particular case, this is across a team of 5 people, and the result here was we saved 40 hours a week. We saved 50 phone calls a week. We saved 100 emails a week, and that just combines for a much better customer and team experience. So really great result. So another example of using Zapier is if you're manually entering data from emails. So for quite a lot of us, we get notifications or we get information from emails. We then need to take that and enter that into a CRM or into a spreadsheet or some other tool. Using Zapier, we can automate a lot of these processes, and you'll see here on the right, this is a workflow where we receive a new email that comes in. We can automatically take the data out of that. We can then send that. In this example, we're sending into a CRM system, and we're also notifying people that information is now in the system. So, and again, it's just saving time.
Andy, I think I know the client behind this, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct? Their guys are so excited by this. There's an actual client of mine that are referred to Andy. Their team is like, they are over the moon by this. This is something that has bugged them for years.
Yeah.
And has been a real bottleneck. And they didn't know it could be fixed. Will all be sorted, like they didn't know this technology existed, which is epic.
And I think that's I think one of the things that's, like one of the barriers for businesses to be able to, leverage this technology is just knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And it's moving very quickly. So, that's part of the reasons, why I'm excited to be running these sessions is so that, more business owners get access to this information, because, like I'm a firm believer that, a thriving, small and medium-sized business, is the best thing, for our economy, and this helps achieve that.
Amen.
We've got a couple of questions here.
That's
So
a
one
good one
says,
too.
yeah, I'm going to start with the top one. So I'm a service business and take photos of all my work. Is it possible to automate adding the photo to customer details, as currently download them manually and then add as a file to Xero?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is possible. I know that I've worked on a few projects where we've added some other data to the Xero file. I would say that Xero is not the best place probably to be putting photos. So the solution, a better solution might be to use a Dropbox or a Google Drive or something like that. But it also depends on what other tools you're using, inside your business. But if Xero's kind of your only app, Xero's a great app. It's it's a great accounting and financial app, but it's not a customer database. And those photos you probably want to have, in a file repository or a customer database.
Yeah, like maybe a link goes from one place to another, so that like you've got your CRM kind of system with your customer data, and then that has somehow connects to your drive. Yep. Like I know we put all of our videos, all of our assets go into the drive. Yep. And then we use other tools to kind of pull them, so that everyone can find them in one place. But I feel like that would be worth some investigation, because it's quite cool. And there's a second follow-up question to that question, which says, is there a HubDoc or Dropbox function for that question?
Is there a HubDoc or Dropbox?
Yeah, so like
question?
Could you, I guess what he's saying is, could you use HubDoc or Dropbox in order to do it? And that would be similar to a drive. So some people just use it if they're all on Google Workspace.
So that's exactly what we've just talked about, using using Drive or using Dropbox. Absolutely, you could do that.
Yeah. Some people prefer, like we're just all on Google Workspace, so we use the Drive. But if you were on like a Microsoft system, you might want to, use Dropbox if that's.
Well, Microsoft have OneDrive, which is.
Oh yeah, they've got OneDrive now. Yeah, that's right.
Which is their equivalent. So
yeah. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, next question says, we use different work management tools like Trello, and is it Jira? I haven't heard of that one. I know we use Miro and stuff. A lot of projects require cross-functional work, and these teams live across different tools. A common request is to sync a card in Trello and have it create a task in Jira. The team in Jira make updates to that task, like comments and status, and this would update the Trello card. Would you recommend Zapier to build ongoing two-way syncs between these tools?
So I've worked with Zapier around Trello. I'm pretty sure that Jira has Zapier integrations. So, it sounds like that would be workable. For me, I become instantly curious about, whether there's a
better tool,
or whether there's kind of another approach. I kind of go, okay, well, what are all the steps? Why have we got? Why do we need this two-way sync in place? And is there a way that we could manage that in a better way? Would be the questions that I would have, and the person, the business asking the question may well have been down that road, and that this is the only way to do that. and if that's the case, then I think Zapier is definitely worthwhile having a look at.
I think you might have said this on your last talk, that you were saying, tools change and new tools are invented all the time.
Yeah.
And having that evaluation every 6 months or so on your tech stack, on the tools you're using, and whether or not they're working for you anymore is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So there might be something better out there, but I don't know what Jira does. So I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Jira is a task management, project management tool. So, so it does a lot of the same things.
Because we use Trello, but we're using a lot of Asana now because it allows us to work a lot more across every project because there's so much going on. So,
Okay. So another example, tracking and following up appointments, which is something that a lot of businesses need to do. So old way again, phone, email, manual data entry, using a form, Zapier, and using a texting app, and using email. We're able to streamline and automate that manual work. So, this, say, 10 hours a week, lots of phone calls and lots of manual texting. And most importantly here, it increased the completed appointments, which, is pretty important. So just one more quick poll for you is if you can just go back to your Slido.com, and if you can just rate this session, that would be great. It'd be great to just have some feedback about how you found it, so that we can make it better next time. And if there was something you found useful in here, and you'd like to talk to me about Zapier and how you could use it to save time in your business, you can go to my website here, hardbasket.com/Zapier, and there you can book a free 20-minute call to find out some more. So thank you very much for your time. Scott, thank you very much. Anna Marie, thank you for hosting us today. It was great to come and talk Zapier.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on and sharing a little bit about Zapier and how we can use it to save our time. Looking forward to having a play around with it myself. I know that they have a lot of different kinds of programs or packages. Would you say, like, as a small business, could you use one of the free packages, or?
You can, and it just depends on the volume of what they call tasks. So the free package provides you, I think is it 700 tasks a month. And also it does limit some of the functionality. So, if you're just looking to do something simple, and then, potentially the free package, the free tool can work for you. And then, as it starts to save you some time and you want to use more of the functionality, you can upgrade from there.
Great. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on today. It's been a great session. Thanks for everyone for participating in those surveys and things. It really makes the sessions interactive, and we love that here on Digital Boost. We're looking forward to the week ahead. All of those that are in Tamaki Makaurau, welcome to level 3. So I'm sure you're out getting your takeaway coffees, as the guys and I discussed before the session. And yeah, we're really grateful for that 20-minute great offering that you've put out there. It's always nice to connect with people who know what they're talking about. And really, sometimes we feel a bit more comfortable having a private conversation rather than using the functions. So until next time, everyone, ka kite, have a wonderful day. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Have fun.